The avoidance of doing what you should be doing is such a big problem that I used to have and that I see a lot of people having today. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was playing pickleball, of all things, today. And a young kid, he's a senior in high school. He was just telling me, "Oh yeah, dude, I don't want to go to college. I want to do this and this and this and this." I said, I was like, "Oh, dude, great. Tell me everything that you're doing right now." And he's like, "Well, I'm doing the cold tub. I'm doing the steam room. I'm stretching. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting in shape. I'm eating good. I'm reading. I'm meditating." I was like, "Nice, dude." I was like, "I'm doing every single great habit." And I go, "Frick, that is awesome. That is awesome. You're on the right path." But you're not doing anything that's actually going to give you any skills. Those are all great habits to have. It's much better to do that as opposed to scrolling on Netflix, jacking off, drinking on the weekends, doing things that you objectively probably shouldn't be doing. But that alone is not building skills to help you start a business, because that's what he wanted to do. And I said, "What kind of business do you want to start?" And he didn't know. I said, "That's fine. Read every single book you can, listen to every single podcast around a bunch of different subjects, see what you're interested in. You're probably not going to be that interested in anything because you're not going to know anything." And I had the problem of every single thing that I tried. Before I found what I'm doing now, I tried drop shipping, I tried trading stocks, I tried everything. Pretty much every single little side hustle that you see online. I tried them all because I just want to see if anything stuck. Nothing did. But I also didn't give it enough time. I wish I just stuck to something for a longer period of time, like I'm doing for the past 3 years or whatever. Anyway, this is kind of besides the point. After pickleball, we're walking back to where the cars are, and he sees me step into my the 1957 Porsche that I'm driving right now, and he freaks out. And I don't know. He was being nice and he was listening to what I was saying. We were talking back and forth, kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. But once he saw the car that I was driving, his perceived value that he got from what I was saying skyrocketed. And that's the importance of how you are perceived. Before, I was just a slightly older kid than him playing pickleball at the same time. But once we were walking to our cars and he sees that I'm driving this incredibly exotic car, then he was like, "Oh my God, dude, what else?" He literally said, "Dude, what else should I be doing? What do you think the next step I should take is? I would love to be in the same position." Then he started asking me questions about myself, how I got here and why I didn't go to college and what business I run. So it's such an interesting dynamic, but this is just the way the world works. You are meant to filter out the bad and usually try and get good from the good things. I'll give you guys another example of this working to the highest possible degree. Me and George Gammon, another guy that I work with, he was having an event in Dallas, and I was living in Arizona a few years ago. We drove one of his trucks because he has a bunch of trucks. We drove one. We packed up everything that was going to be needed for the live event, and we drove from Arizona to Dallas. And the last day that we were driving, it was like 6-7 hours. We had to get to the event, set everything up. When we get there, the people there were just incredibly rude to us. They're like, "Oh, you guys can set it up, and you guys, we just don't really have the staff to help you." And then George was like, "Dude, I just brought in $300,000 of tickets to this event. He's like, I've run hundreds of events in the past. They've never made me do this." And he was like, "Dude," he told me, "Josh, it's because it looks like we are the workers, not the people who are running the event." He was like, because Robert Kiyosaki and Ron Paul were both coming to speak at that event. It would be like Robert Kiyosaki and Ron Paul coming up to an event that they were having and then having to set or at least unload the truck and not even be able to bring it into a parking lot. And they were just incredibly, incredibly rude to us. And I remember that because it is the complete opposite of when I went to Vegas with my buddy Justin. And it was my second time ever traveling. We went there. It was a good time. Obviously, I hated Vegas. I couldn't be in the casinos when people were gambling, but we were there for an event. And my buddy Justin, he has unlimited points. He's hacked all the airlines and all the hotels and stuff. So he's like the highest tier status for everything. Even though he doesn't gamble, he's like the highest tier that you can have in one of the casinos. So we got a super exclusive like free dinner at like a buffet that had unlimited Wagyu steak, just the best, most extraordinary just buffet. They had absolutely everything you can imagine. There was this line of literally 200 people. I'm really not joking. I was like, "Dude, it's not worth it. Let's just go eat somewhere else. You said this buffet is really good, but I can't wait in that line." And Justin laughs at me. He's like, "Oh, my friend, we are not waiting in that line. They have a special line for us over here." So when we were in that line, our perceived value was incredibly high. People were saying, "Oh my God, who's this guy?" Same thing when I'm driving the car that I have right now down the street. Literally every single day, people are waving to me. When you're getting gas, people are super friendly to you because you are perceived better. Anyway, So after the fact, after we were at the car and he was asking me, so what would you recommend I do if I don't go to college? I said, well, you got to have some sort of plan. You can't just not go to college and do nothing. And just doing good habits is not going to make you any money. Unfortunately, I said, I really wish that it would. I would love to do the cold plunge every single day. I'd love to stretch. That would be amazing. But that is a quick way to being poor. I said you have to develop skills that people need. The only reason why I can do anything that I want right now is because people desperately need the skill set that I have and they're willing to pay just about anything for it. And I said, the skill set that you start with is not going to be the one that you are doing when you're making a bit more money, but you got to learn something to be of use to people, especially you're a motivated kid. Even if you work for someone for free, what can you provide them right now except really a labor or a zero skill labor job that anyone can do. So I said, just spend as much time as you can learning about a certain subject and becoming incredibly proficient with it. Let's just take AI, for example, or coding or ads, doing paid ads for someone, organic traffic. If you could go into their business and say, hey, I have this plan. I've never done it before. I don't really have any this is going to be my first time ever working for someone, but I've been studying this for the past year. Here's the opportunity that you have. Here's exactly what I think we should do. Here's why we should do it. Here are the results I think we could expect. I'm not asking for you for anything in return. All I'm asking you for is the chance to hopefully allow me to prove myself as worthy. And if it works, and this does work really well, can you be a case study for me so maybe I can get some potential more work down the line? And I said, that is what every single business owner would love. Every single super successful guy, they really want young, motivated people who have something that can be provided. Every single one of them. But you can't just be a leech. And then I said, dude, you're not going to reach out to Alex Hormozi and he's going to say yes. Just start with some local business owners. That is by far the easiest way to do it. And the most realistic. It is not realistic to reach out to people online and get work. I got incredibly lucky. I don't know if it was all luck because I did do some crazy stuff for those of you that don't know. In high school, I was reaching out to dozens of people asking to work for them for free. Then I started to ask people to pay to work for them. Then I started to ask people to, hey, I will pay you 10% of what I earned for the next decade from what I learned from you if you let me work for you for free. And I'll give you the $20,000 that I have saved up right now on top of that. So I was literally offering people incredible deals and I still wasn't getting any luck. And I wasn't even reaching out to people who were hyper successful. I was just listening to macroeconomics podcasts and I just was like, fuck, I want to work for this person. So I'll reach out to the person who was being interviewed who has 340 followers on Twitter, but it didn't matter. Nothing was working. So I had to take more dramatic steps, and I got George Gibbons' logo, which is from the book Atlas Shrugged. Right after I read that, I got that tattooed on my leg. I'd never been on a plane before. I'm from Boston. I took my first ever flight when I was 18, still in high school, to Arizona, where I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was my freaking first time ever traveling, really. And then meeting him, showing him the tattoo, showing him the value that I could potentially provide, and still not getting a job for maybe 4 months after that, while I was still reaching out to dozens of people a week in the interim. So I would say that's some crazy stuff that I probably wouldn't recommend, and it might not even work for other people's situation. But now I can work with just about any human that I want to. Right now, I want to learn how to scale a business, so I'm working with Kenny McElroy, who runs a $3 billion business, and he has hundreds of employees, literally. And I'm surrounded by all of his buddies who are in the exact same situation. So because I want to learn how to scale a business, I said, dude, don't worry about pay. Don't worry about anything. Just let me come. Let me learn everything I can for you. And I'm going to make you more money to where you are going to have to pay me such an egregious amount to keep me around. And he said, all right, dude. And that's exactly what we're doing. And so now I'm getting this incredible amounts of credibility. Tomorrow, I am going to be having dinner with Seth the Joiner, who is a football player who wants the exact same thing done, which I did for Kenny. I'm getting dinner with him and Ken, and it's got some steakhouse, which is going to be fantastic. I've met Seth a few times. He's a cool dude. But now these people are reaching out to have dinner with me, which is it is such a surreal thing because I would have done anything for this experience in the past. So that's the power of developing a skill set that people desperately need. If you are really good at it and you can provide a shit ton of value, people are going to want this value for them. Anyway, I got to go. I just finished eating my steak with some pineapple. Getting dialed in right now. Anyway, goodbye.